Of a dog buried in snow for 20 minutes in Colorado after being swept away during an avalanche. Two skiers were frantically digging with their hands and shovels to free the 2-year-old Chesapeake Bay retriever named Apollo. The dog's owner says Apollo is home and doing well.
Authorities are revealing details of a months-long police operation around New Orleans. It resulted in 30 arrests and the recovery of 5 teenagers, some who had ties to sex trafficking. U.S. Marshals say more than half the suspects were already listed in sex offender registries.
We're learning more about NFL star Antonio Brown's abrupt exit from Sunday's game, ripping off his shirt and leaving the stadium. ESPN reports Brown just quit. His time with Tom Brady in Tampa is now over. A dramatic and bizarre exit for one of the NFL's most controversial stars.
I've never seen this. He has taken his uniform, his shoulder pads off, and he has run to the Buccaneer locker room.
Buccaneers wide receiver Antonio Brown erupting in frustration during the third quarter of Sunday's game against the Jets. Brown stripping off his equipment and tossing his shirt and gloves into the crowd, waving to fans as he made his way across the end zone and into the tunnel.
He's not hurt. He has decided to run to the locker room on his own.
Wow. Bucs coach Bruce Arians telling a reporter after the game that he tried to put Brown into the game twice, with Brown refusing each time. Arians says he then told Brown to, quote, get out. Arians telling ESPN he doesn't know why Brown refused to enter the game, but one thing that is for certain.
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. I'm not talking about him. He's not a part of the Bucs.
Teammate Tom Brady striking a softer tone after the game.
We all love him. We care about him deeply. You know, we want to see him be at his best, and, you know, unfortunately won't be with our team.
The NFL veteran who won a Super Bowl with the Bucs just last year is no stranger to scandal. In 2019, a former trainer accused Brown of sexual assault, and another woman recounted an incident of alleged sexual misconduct. The following year, Brown was charged with felony burglary with battery for an incident involving a moving truck company. And just last week, Brown returned to the field after being suspended 3 games for turning in a fake COVID vaccination card. Just hours after leaving yesterday's game, Brown posted this picture on Instagram saying, thanks for the opportunity. Security officials at the stadium say Brown asked police for a ride to the airport. That request was denied. ESPN reports Brown did not fly home on the team plane.
Coming up, just how short our attention spans are becoming.
Also ahead, the little girl who caught the attention of a queen.
I had come to realize that we had to work together to turn the sacrifice of Emmett's life into some positive gain.
The call that no mother ever wants to get.
Emmett Till was the impetus for me actually feeling like you got to do something purposeful.
That was the dilemma of the black mother, just trying to find a place where your kids can grow up safe.
Let the World See premieres Thursday night right after Women of the Movement on ABC.
And now, a message from award-winning superstar Ciara.
Shh. Just wait until you see the live surprise I have coming for the most amazing person Monday morning on Good Morning America. This is going to be great. I'm so excited.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
World News Now.
And America This Morning.
The best new videos.
Breaking news overnight.
Your money and concerns about inflation.
The pandemic is not over.
The stories people are talking about.
You don't want to shave your legs? Don't. I was going to say. And what to expect in the day ahead.
From the top of the world, baby! ABC World News Now and America This Morning.
Weekday morning starting at 2 a.m. Eastern.
Up all night to keep you up to date.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, Michael Strahan. Wake up with America's #1 most watched morning show. ABC's
Good Morning America.
Time to check the pulse, and we begin with our attention span shrinking by the day.
I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Yeah.
Okay, the Guardian newspaper is out with a story saying we have an attention span crisis with technology bombarding us. One study found college students spend an average of only 65 seconds focusing on a task, and office workers focus on only 3 minutes on average.
Yikes, it's the emails. Scientists insist your brain can only produce 1 or 2 thoughts at once, so they say multitasking is a delusion. Next, a warning for homeowners about cats and the danger they pose.
Fire officials have issued an official warning to homeowners in South Korea after they say cats caused more than 100 fires in the country in the last 3 years alone. In many cases, the cats turned on electrical stoves with their paws. All right, from cats to dogs, the American Kennel Club has crowned its national champion.
The winner of the 20th annual American Kennel Club National Championship was the giant schnauzer named Bayou. He beat more than 5,000 other dogs for the $50,000 grand prize.
He and his owner will be on Good Morning America this morning. And next, an American girl receiving a royal dispatch from Queen Elizabeth.
That's right, the royal shout-out came after the Ohio toddler's mom sent Her Majesty a photo. The toddler posed in a double-breasted overcoat with pearls and a white wig, along with her family's corgis. And the Queen's lady-in-waiting responded, saying the Queen thought the outfit was splendid.
So do we.
Yes. And finally, do you have your Powerball ticket yet? Because a massive drawing is tonight.
The big jackpot will be at least $522 million. No one has won it since early October.
Wait, what was that date? Huh?
I forgot. My attention span.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
I had come to realize that we had to work together to turn the sacrifice of Emmett's life into some positive gain.
The call that no mother ever wants to get.
Emmett Till was the impetus for me actually feeling like you got to do something purposeful.
That was the dilemma of the black mother, just trying to find a place where your kids can grow up safe.
Let the World See premieres Thursday night right after Women of the Movement on ABC.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Seems to change just about every day.
what is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
Is that the gun?
That's not the gun.
What is it? I won't ask you again then. Are you a Nazi?
The deeper you go into black markets,
You could be putting your life at risk.
the darker it gets.
Why hasn't anyone come out and spoken?
It's about the money. That's why we do it.
Trafficked. New episodes Wednesdays at 9 on National Geographic.
Checking the top stories, the White House says President Biden told Ukraine's president Sunday that the U.S. will respond decisively if Russia further invades Ukraine. Biden recently warned Russia President Putin that Moscow will pay a heavy price.
Another change could be coming to the CDC's COVID recommendations. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the agency is now considering recommending asymptomatic people get a negative COVID test before they leave isolation. Meanwhile, several major school districts are now starting the new year teaching remotely due to concern about the Omicron variant.
Then in New York City, police say a man who jumped the turnstile to get into the subway for free died after he fell and broke his neck. He landed on the cement floor. Reports say he appeared to be drunk.
Today's weather, rain and up to 10 inches of snow from the mid-Atlantic region into the Northeast. Cold across much of the Midwest and Plains, and rain for parts of the West Coast.
And finally, the set of twins from California who were born in different years.
Will Gans has their story.
The odds of having twins, roughly 1 in 250.
I never thought in a million years I would thought that I was going to have twins.
The odds of having twins born on 2 different days, in 2 different months, in 2 different years?
I was in shock at first, but I was so happy and I feel so relieved. I was just surprised. It's a blessing.
Alfredo Antonio, born at 11:45 p.m. on December 31st, 2021. 15 minutes later, his twin sister Eileen Yolanda, born at exactly midnight, January 1st, 2022. That's right, Alfredo and Eileen technically born in different years. A 1 in 2 million chance. Both mom and dad and the extended family shocked.
So we're like surprised because neither of us have family with twins.
The twins' doctor saying in a statement, "This was definitely one of the most memorable deliveries of my career. It was an absolute pleasure to help these little ones arrive here safely in 2021 and 2022. What an amazing way to start the new year." The Miracle Twins recovering back home.
Oh, that's the girl.
She's beautiful. Hi, Eileen.
Fatima saying she's honored her newborn boy and girl can be a sign of hope as we bring in the new year.
Everything is possible, and every child's a blessing.
Baby boy is named after his grandfather, baby girl after her grandmother, but mom says she's not quite able to see who they take after personality-wise just yet. Everybody excited to welcome 2022 on a happy note. Andrew, Mona?
So a year older, but not really.
Not much wiser either, just maybe a day wiser. The problem is going to be when they turn 21.
Okay.
That's what's making news in America. Right now on America This Morning, weather alert. A winter storm takes aim at the East Coast just in time for the morning commute. Up to 10 inches of snow. All this as airlines struggle with COVID-related staff shortages. What to expect today?
Back to school deja vu. The explosion in Omicron cases threatening to send kids back to remote learning. What doctors are seeing right now and the CDC guidance that could soon change when it comes to quarantining.
New details overnight about 2 wild moments in the NFL. A railing collapse sending fans toppling onto the ground. And star receiver Antonio Brown ripping off his shirt abruptly, leaving the middle of the game. What his coach is now revealing.
The 1-year anniversary of the attack on the U.S. Capitol now just days away. What we're learning about President Trump's actions that day and what his daughter Ivanka requested.
Later, a warning about the danger that cats pose to homeowners.
And does America have an attention span crisis? Some evidence we should all pay attention to.
From ABC News in New York, this is America This Morning.
Good Monday morning, everyone. We begin with the weather and a travel nightmare for millions of Americans.
Looking at the radar, up to 10 inches of snow could fall in parts of the mid-Atlantic region from Virginia to southern New Jersey this morning. The storm is hitting just in time for the morning commute.
It's also hitting as airlines deal with COVID-related staffing shortages, meaning people stranded at airports over the weekend could have an even longer wait today. The storms creating a winter wonderland overnight in the Deep South are intensifying before delivering the first major snowfall of the season for millions of people in the Northeast.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's a lot of snow.
This video showing whiteout conditions in Huntsville, Alabama, where up to 3 inches were predicted.
I'm scared.
The round of storms now moving up the coast, bringing a mixed bag of winter weather and tornado threats.
Roanoke to D.C., Baltimore, and Philly, 2 to 6 inches of snow. It'll start out wet. The ground is warm, but it'll pile up.
In Washington, D.C., federal offices are closed today. Some schools in Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey have already declared a snow day on the first day back from the holiday break. Travelers and airlines crippled by COVID-related staffing issues, now also dealing with the severe weather. Nearly 1,000 flights for today have already been canceled.
We had a huge snowstorm, and oh my goodness, they canceled the flight because they were scared that we wouldn't be able to take off.
And now temperatures are plunging across the country. The cold spot this morning, -7 in Des Moines, Iowa. In New Mexico, the extreme cold is blamed for stranding 21 passengers on this tram. High above the mountains overlooking Albuquerque, an iced-over cable caused the cars to get stuck. The people inside waited 14 hours in the freezing cold to be rescued.
We got real close and a lot of hugging and just making sure everyone was okay.
And we'll take a closer look at today's forecast in about 5 minutes.
Turning to the pandemic, it may be time to reconsider the kind of mask you wear. More doctors are urging people to stop using cloth masks because they don't provide enough protection against the Omicron variant. They recommend respirator masks like the N95 one. And several major school districts across the country are returning to school remotely today due to the Omicron variant. COVID hospitalization rates are rising quickly, and now a testing backlog could make returning to work and school even harder. ABC's M. Wynn is here now with more. M, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Hospitalizations are on the rise across the country. In New York, nearly 9,000 people are in the hospital with COVID-19. It's the highest rate since this time last year, a signal that the pandemic is not letting up anytime soon.
This morning, school is back in session for most of the country, but the idea of millions of children gathering amid a post-holiday surge of COVID-19 cases isn't sitting well for some parents.
I will likely keep our son home into the 5th just to have those extra days.
Already, some big school districts will start the new year with at least a few days of remote learning due to the Omicron variant, including Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Newark.
Superintendents today are getting phone calls learning that some of their schools may have 5 to 10% of their staff not available due to COVID-19.
Top health experts are reassuring parents that in-person learning is the best track for students right now.
I think it's safe for them to do so. There's a lot schools can do to keep infection numbers lower, improve ventilation, have kids and adults masking, vaccinate everybody who's eligible.
This comes as the U.S. is seeing an average of nearly 400,000 new daily COVID cases nationwide, with hospitalizations approaching 100,000. Testing is still in high demand as well. One of the largest testing companies in the country, Quest Diagnostics, tells ABC News their turnaround for results has stretched up to 3 days from the average 1 day. And now, Dr. Anthony Fauci saying the CDC may revise current guidance again for asymptomatic COVID patients after getting pushback. The agency could recommend that a person get a negative COVID test before ending isolation. The CDC had shortened the isolation period for those testing positive from 10 days to 5 and was not requiring a negative test.
There has been some concern about why we don't ask people at that 5-day period to get tested. That is something that is now under consideration.
Here in Washington, a high-profile case of COVID-19. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced he tested positive Sunday with mild symptoms. He says his last meeting with President Biden was almost 2 weeks ago. Andrew.
Thank you. Twitter has permanently suspended Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal account. It says Greene repeatedly violated its COVID misinformation policy.
The White House says President Biden will speak Thursday to mark 1 year since the attack on the Capitol. Meanwhile, we're learning